Hey YouTube, how is it going? Today I'm gonna show you how I like and prefer to set up my a6700 for both video and photography. From key settings to quick tips, we will get your camera ready to capture the most beautiful footage and photos. Let's dive in.
Racing to the finish line, seatbelt, fast whips, got a win in mind. See me when I skirt off, ain't no 10 in mind.
So first of all, let's set the front dial to manual mode, then switch it video mode. Now we can turn the camera on. First of all, set to PAL or NTSC based on your region or needs. NTSC is more common in US, offers 24, 30, 60 and 120 FPS. PAL common in Europe, offers 25, 50 and 100 FPS. And then go into shooting menu. At the bottom, shooting display. What I like to do is to choose grid line display on, then grid line type rule of thirds grid, and then emphasized rec display turn on. Rule of thirds is very handy, so it will help you to frame your shots. And emphasized rec display, it will show a red line around your screen, and it is very handy, so you will see that you actually press the record button and the camera is recording. So next up is power setting option. Auto monitor, turn it off. Power save start time, power save by monitor off. And the key setting here is auto power off temperature. Normally it is set on standard and you just set it on high. Another thing what I really like to do is go to setup, finder/monitor menu, find the monitor brightness and set it on sunny weather. So these are the key settings that I like to set it up first before I jump into specifics. So this video probably will be quite long, so grab a coffee or something and let's jump in. So next up is my menu. Here you can create your own menu. You can add all your main shortcuts. So you can add anything you want here. Just simply go to my menu settings and you can add it like anything from the Sony menu. You can create your own menu and have a multiple pages. Alright, let's dive into the main menu. This menu is called the main menu for a reason. It's where you can adjust the essential settings of your videos and photos. Here you can change your frame rate. You can also set your shutter speed, making sure it's double your frame rate for the natural motion blur. You can also adjust your ISO here. And when it comes to white balance, I recommend leaving it on auto. For run and gun situations, it adapts quickly, so you don't have to waste time tweaking it manually during fast-paced shoots. In this menu you can also choose your picture profile, and I recommend PP11, which is S-Cinetone. It gives you a cinematic look right out of the camera. Perfect if you don't want to deal with heavy color grading. Next, adjust your record settings and always set it to the highest bit rate. This gives you better color depth and more flexibility in post-production. You can also adjust your file format. The first option is XAVC HS 4K. Is more compressed but offers higher quality than XAVC S4K. However, it's really hard on your computer, especially if you have a weaker system. The second option, XAVC S4K, is almost as good but easier to edit on your computer, and it supports all the frame rates. There's also XAVC SI 4K, which is uncompressed and offers the highest quality, but the file sizes are huge. So personally I prefer XAVC S4K because it strikes a good balance between quality and performance. Next there is a gamma display assist, which you can turn it on when you shoot S-Log free. Then there is a proxy recording, but I personally don't use it. Another setting is wind noise reduction. Personally, I prefer to handle audio myself. As for audio control, you can adjust it here. I like it to keep it somewhere in the middle for a good balance, but you can fine tune it based on your needs. Next, go to the second page of the main menu, where you will find the log shooting settings. This is where you can enable and disable S-Log free profile. You also find the options to format your card and rename your files. Renaming files is especially useful if you're using multiple cameras, as it helps keep things organized. For example, you can name files based on your camera you're shooting with, so you always know which shot came from which camera. Now let's talk about the function menu settings. Personally, I don't use this menu much for either photography or video, but it is a great place to add shortcuts based on your needs. For example, in the top right corner I have set up zebras to help with exposure. This allows me to adjust the zebra levels to see exactly where highlights are clipping. I also use the steady shot function sometimes, especially for the handheld shots. It helps me to reduce the shake in some situations. There is also the focus map, which can be useful in video to visualize focus areas. While I don't use many other functions here, you can customize it to fit your shooting style. Next up, I want to talk about custom key dial settings. This is all about making your camera quicker and more efficient to use. I have set up my camera to fit my workflow, so I can access key functions without digging into the menu. This is where you can really personalize your setup. You can assign specific functions to buttons to make your workflow faster. And here's how I set it up my camera, so you can just copy or you can personalize it yourself. For PP11 profile, which is S-Cinetone, I want to show you how I set up my zebra levels. There are a lot of ways you can adjust this, but this is how personally I have it set it up. So feel free to copy it or tweak it to your own preference. For the lower limit, I set it up to 109 plus for the highlights, and for the standard range I use 60 plus minus 2 for skin tones. Once we got everything set up the way we want, it's time to save our settings. Simply go into setup menu, find the reset and save settings page and save it. Let's talk about the top dial on the camera. Normally I keep it in manual mode with S-Cinetone at 24 FPS, just in case I need to shoot some standard video. But when it comes to S-Log, since I love shooting S-Log free, I have set up camera specifically for that. The number one dial is for the 24 FPS, the second is for 60 FPS, and the third is for 120 FPS. So now I'm gonna show you how to save your preset to the number one dial, for example. So before you save your preset to number one dial, make sure everything is set correctly. First, check your frame rate and shutter speed. For S-Log 3, I recommend set your base ISO to 800. Next, white balance to auto or whatever works best for you. Also remember to adjust your zebra settings for S-Log 3 as they are different from S-Cinetone. Once everything is set, you can save your preset and I'll show you how. Find camera set memo. You will see options 1, 2, 3. Don't use M1s, just stick with 1, 2, 3. Choose the one you want to save to, like in my case number 1, and press OK. It will confirm that your settings are saved. Once again, set up everything to make sure it's correct. Now change your frame rate to your preferred setting. For example, on dial number 2, I like to have 60 FPS. Then adjust your shutter speed to 1/125, set your base ISO and make sure everything is pretty much the same. After that, just go through all the same steps and save it to dial number 2. You can do the same with 120 FPS. I prefer to have 120 FPS on dial number 3. Just change your frame rate, make sure the shutter speed is double that, so it's 1/250, and follow the same steps to save it to dial number 3. So this is how I set up a camera for the video, but it's more for S-Log 3. You can do the same for S-Cinetone if you don't want to shoot S-Log 3. So just obviously change the profiles and basically, and the zebra levels, and basically all the same. Now we can go into how I set up my camera for photography. It won't be so long because basically all the settings are the same. It's just a few tweaks we need to do and that's it. So let's go. First of all, make sure you are set to manual mode. I like to shoot in manual, so I turn the front dial to M. Then there is a dial below that switches between video and photo modes. Ensure this dial is set to photo. There aren't many settings to change, but a few adjustments are essential. First, go to main menu and find the file format. Choose what suits your workflow. JPEGs only, RAW and JPEG, or just RAW files. Personally, I love to shoot in RAW for maximum flexibility and the best quality when I am editing. Next, go to RAW file type and choose your preferred type. Then head over to the JPEG quality. If you are shooting JPEGs, set it to extra fine for the best results. For aspect ratio, I prefer 3:2. But you can choose what works for you. Finally, set the JPEG image size to large for the highest resolution. Next, press the menu button, go to the setup page and find the custom key and dial set. If you like, you can copy the button setup I use for photography. It's almost the same as video setup, it's just maybe just 1 or 2 differences. Feel free to copy if that works for you. So here you have it, guys. This is how I set up my Sony a6700 for video and photography. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe and all that stuff. I would really appreciate your support. This video took some time actually to make it, so I would really appreciate your support. And please comment like what you would like to see more in the future videos, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.